Okay, I want to welcome back to the show Anthony Kung. Anthony Kung came onto the CelebrityU Radio TV show beginning when I started the show, and then he was doing Toastmasters at the time. He's an excellent speaker, and he's been doing a lot since I last saw him, and he was one of my favorite hosts, and he has brought some special guests today. Cathrine Hatcher was going to be here, and she couldn't do it because of an emergency. So I wanted to welcome you. I'm so happy to see you. You look great,
glad
Anthony.
To be back. Well, thank you. I haven't changed, have I?
No, not really. But I haven't seen you, and it's been several
It's been a while.
months.
It's been several months.
It's been several months.
Yes.
And so, quickly, before you do your interview with these nice young people, which is it's going to be a great segment, by the way. Parents are going to like this.
Oh, yes, they will.
Okay. I want to tell me what you've been up to. What's been happening since I saw you last?
Since you last saw me, I think it's been about 4 or 5 months ago. I actually decided to pursue my passion. My childhood passion was to pursue acting.
Wow.
And, I'm sure our guests will confirm this later, but, Chinese parents being Chinese parents, acting is just not something you pursue. So I never got to do that. I did end up getting my degree in engineering from USC at Los
Boy,
Angeles.
is that different.
Yeah, it is different. But, at one point I said, you know what, I've always wanted to try acting. And so 3 months ago, I decided to go head in and say, hey, let me try this out. So what happened was, if we still have time, I'll just explain this to you just briefly. What happened was that, a friend of mine would say, why do you keep talking about, I will have, I could have, I should have back in high school? Because I never got to be in any high school plays. Because I went to a British school, and all my friends from the UK, they are very good with the Shakespearean English. So they would go on the stage, do Shakespeare, and I had no idea what Shakespeare was. I could not understand it. But now at this time, my friend said, why don't you just do something about it? So what she told me to do is to connect to her Facebook pages. She had 4 links to casting agencies. So I went in there on a Thursday, connected to them, and then on Friday I got hired. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is easy. So that was 3 months ago. I've been on The Good Guys on the Fox channel for about 6 weeks. I've been on Chase for about 4 weeks. That's on NBC. I had a photo shoot with Dell Computers, with All My Son's company, which is local here, and 1 or 2 other infomercial companies. And got my agent on in November. And then last month was my biggest month. I was part of a film with Universal Pictures, $270 million budget, and starring Liam Neeson and Rihanna, and the director is Peter Berg, who did Friday Night Lights, and I was working there for 3 weeks, and I had my head shaved, that was 5 weeks ago. It was literally 1 centimeter long. So
I was kind of wondering,
because
your hair did look different.
Yeah. I mean, my hair, if you see me beforehand, was like 6 inches long, like that's a year.
So they really do make you cut your hair.
Yes. So I'm growing it back out. So for all those of you out there, if you're wondering about my hair, I'm going to grow back.
I thought he's got a. That's kind of weird for a Asian man to have a fro.
It's kind of like a mid length right now. So it's
but it looks good, and that's part you're sacrificing for your art.
Well, the art.
And you know what? I mean, I just happened to think you got your start here on CelebrityU Radio /TV show. See what can happen to you? Be on the show, and you next thing you're on a $270 million budget movie. So you never know.
That was fun.
So, but meanwhile, so what's your day job?
I'm a wealth educator.
Okay.
And what I do is I teach people capital recovery strategies. Basically, we all have our expenses, right? We buy a car, we spend on things. If they have children, they spend on their education. Well, I basically teach them how to structure the whole financial picture so that they can recapture some of that capital. So in other words, you're spending money on necessary expenses, but you can still have it come back into your system. And I teach people that.
Okay.
That's my daytime job.
And so you're a financial planner?
Yeah, it is in the realm of financial planning. I do have my licensing. I have an insurance license. I do have a Series 7 license, which is for securities.
Okay. So you didn't give me any of that information of how people could get a hold of you if they wanted to talk to the famous Anthony Kung. Not only do they get, they get to rub elbows with the actor, but they also get to maybe increase their net worth. So
Yeah,
they can
exactly,
get a hold of you.
exactly.
Do you have a website?
I don't have a website yet. It's under construction, but I can leave you my email and phone number.
Please do. Please
I
do.
will.
Okay. Well, I know that you've come today because you brought a great program that Cathrine, you know, we both know Cathrine Hatcher, and she's our dear friend, and we love her very much. And so she had arranged for this. She thought this was something really great that would be for the, you know, she's kind of our public, kind of our what is it? Not a PSA, but public broadcasting. She always comes up with things that are interesting, and so do you. So I'm going to turn this over to you and talk about what this segment is about, and begin it, and I will chime in as needed. But welcome to the show, welcome back, and welcome to these young people. And we've got Anthony Kung.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Our session today is going to be about having a different point of view with regards to relationships between parents and children. And this time it's going to be the point of view from the children. And some of you may have thought, well, you know, why? We've never asked the children what they think. And we actually have two individuals here who will tell us a little bit more about this. Let me give you a basic bio first. Harvey Lui. He grew up in Plano, Texas, and for those of you wondering where Plano is, it's about half an hour from here?
Half an hour.
Half an hour from here. And he graduated from John Paul II High School. He is now a junior at Claremont McKenna College and is majoring in international relations and psychology with a minor in leadership studies. He has spent his past several years mentoring students with Think and Speak Up. Zen Ren graduated from Plano East last year and is currently a design and plan to honors major at the University of Texas. She has blogged about parenting since sophomore year high school and enjoys studying the parent-child dynamic. Welcome, Harvey, and welcome, Zen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll have the question to Zen first. It says here that you have blogged about the parenting since sophomore year high school, so that's at least been a couple of years. What has your experience been in terms of the responses you get on your blog?
Well, I started the blog because when I was little, I was a really difficult child, and my mom, yes, I was very shy, I was very aggressive at the same time. It was just really hard to deal with. And so my mom didn't know what to do with me, so she bought a whole bunch of parenting books, and one day I found them, and I was reading them, and I was like, well, they're okay, but some of these parts are really inadequate, and so I got kind of frustrated, and then like that really grew into something I really thought about. And so sophomore year of high school, I started the blog, and I worked on it with a couple friends, and I got some really great responses from parents.
Really?
And yeah, like a lot of them would say, oh, I read other parenting blogs, I go on parenting forums, but it's all parenting, it's all just other parents. So we have to keep on guessing what our children are thinking about us and how they might respond to this. But after reading your blog, it's like, oh, that's what they're thinking. That makes more sense now.
So it wasn't really out of anger and frustration that you got together with your friends and said, well, let's put a student's point of view. It wasn't that, was it?
Well, perhaps some of my friends are pretty frustrated with their parents, but that just, you know, it just provided really great material that we could write about. Like, you know, sometimes parents, they mean well, obviously. Everyone has good intentions, but sometimes it may be difficult to carry out these good intentions, especially since, like, we're young and immature, and you guys have so much experience.
I'm sorry, who, guys? You guys? Jimmy, is that you and me? Go on.
The parents out there just have so much experience, so it's a totally different mindset. So just basically we tried to bridge those gaps between communication.
Okay. Before we go to Harvey, what does your mom think about this? Or what did she think when she first saw it?
Well,
did you think you had just gone off the edge this time, or?
She was concerned, like it was a ranting blog or something that I would post bad things about her. But no, we have a good relationship. Everything I talk about is pretty constructive. I don't get furious at her about anything. So
well, at least now she knows what you're thinking because you actually wrote it down on
paper. So it's been a great channel. It's just been a really great thing for our relationship.
Interesting. All right, Harvey. You were mentoring students for a few years. How was that experience?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It was really rewarding from the beginning. Both Zen and I actually, we started with this program, Think and Speak Up, a few years ago. And at first it started out as just building kids' confidence, helping them learn leadership skills, communication skills. It really started out with how to write a speech, how to deliver a speech.
Right.
And from there, I think it evolved to how to be a leader in the community, how to be a leader at school, how to really tap into that potential, to be involved in more than just academics. And then just recently from that point, I think we sort of segued off into how to develop leadership starting at home, how that relationship with your family, with your parents, how that really evolves, how that translates into success in the real world at school or beyond or whatever. And so we've been starting to focus more on that now, from the whole speech writing thing. So it's been kind of a mix. It's been kind of a mix, an overall character development thing, I think. Yeah.
Nice description, but we want to know the dirty story. Were you like Zen? Were you a difficult child?
I think so. I think most of us. Well, I think it's I had my own ideas growing up, and certainly my parents, they had their expectations and they had their hopes and aspirations, and at a certain point I realized that we both wanted the same thing. It's just the route to get there was very different. I wanted to take one way, they wanted me to take another, and so that definitely presented some kind of struggle. And I think I was really fortunate because at some point we were able to reconcile the two, and we were able to really go on that one path. And just like Zen, my parents and I now, we have a fantastic relationship.
That's good.
And I really hope that I can help other families really find that bond. Really
because we always hear about from friends where they don't have a good relationship with their parents, and it could go on for years and years and years, and they never resolve it.
Right, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah. So, well, let's get into some specifics. One of the things that you talk about in your blog and some of the information I've gathered is that you talk about respect for your children's ideas, opinions, and experiences. Could you elaborate on that, either one of you?
Okay, well, when I was little, sometimes my mom, she'd have to make a big decision about work, or she'd have like a conflict with one of her coworkers. And I mean, she'd talk about it with her friend. She's like, well, how would I solve this problem? But she'd also talk about it with me. And it's not like I had any like real solutions to offer. I was only like 6 or 7. But I mean, when my mom came to me, she's like, what do you think I should do? It meant so much to me. It's like, wow, my mom really cares about what I have to think. And it's like, when you're little, you really idolize your parents. And so when they come to you with something as big of a deal as that, or anything really, you just really want to talk to them and be like, okay, well, my mom obviously cares about me, so I'm going to respond. And it's just a really great point to build like communication on.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I saw something that Harvey wrote in a blog about, I think it was children in Paris, where you said that they were treated like adults. Could you?
Right. Yeah, it was. So I spent my last semester studying in Paris.
Okay.
And it was very.
That is France, right?
Paris, France.
Okay.
Right.
Just want to make sure.
Not Paris, Texas. No. But no, it was different. It was really different because at a very young age, I'd be riding the metro or I'd be outside walking around, and children as young as 3 or 4 years old, I mean, not only do they dress very maturely, but the way I see them interacting with adults and their parents, it's not at all this sort of, they're not dragging their feet, they're not complaining, they're not whining. They're constantly just having a dialogue. And in the metro, I'd hear a mother talking to her child and being like, oh, like what did you think about that we saw earlier? That was really strange, right? And the child would respond and give his or her opinions and reflect on it.
Right.
And overall, I think Parisian children at least just appeared so much more mature that they were able to really process thoughts and really think about the things they see and really analyze everything. Yeah. And I think it's because their environment, the adults around them, constantly are asking them to think about it and to see things and to perceive things.
Okay. Okay. So, parlez-vous français?
Un petit peu.
Oh, okay.